In the previous video, we have seen how to implement a carousel. In this video, let's extend our application and render a different type of post that we can have in our Instagram clone. And here I'm speaking about video posts. So if we look in the feedpost.tsx, here at the moment we have two types of posts, an image post and a carousel post that contains a list of images. Okay. We are going to add a new type of post here, but before that, let's open our assets data post.json. And here in our post.json, I want to add the data for the new post that will contain a video URL. So what I can do is I can copy the first object here because I don't want to edit the first one because the first one is our carousel. So I still want to see it. I will copy it and I will paste it above. So now we have two carousel posts, but for the first one, I'm gonna change the ID here to, I don't know, video one, and I'm gonna delete the images, and I'm gonna leave only video here, so that the first post in our dummy data array is the video one, because I want to see it the first thing on the top there to be able to work with it. And for the URL, I already prepared a public video that we can access it, everyone can access it. So I'm gonna paste it here. I will leave this URL in the description of the video so you can copy paste it easily. All right, so now that we have our first post with a video URL property, we can go back in our feedpost.tsx, and here when we check the type of post that we're trying to render, we're gonna add a new else if statement to check if post.video exists. So if it's not an image, if it's not a carousel, let's check if it's a video. If it's a video, I'm going to assign here a component that we will implement in a moment, and that's going to be called video player. What will that video player need? I think the URI of a video. So we're going to take it from post.video, and at the moment probably that's it. Alright, now let's implement this video player component in our components folder. So new folder, video player, and here I'm gonna quickly initialize the video player like the bare bone structure of a component. So let's speed up a bit. Alright, and after that's done, let's go back in our feed.post and make sure that we import this video player. So import video player from the same directory, save. And because in our video player I just rendered a simple text, that's what I should see here. The only thing that right now is missing is the double pressable on top of the video player. So I will wrap our video player here in double pressable like this. So video player, come with me here, and double pressable like this. So we have video player inside the double pressable because I still want to double press on the video player and like it. All right, so now that we have our video player component here, let's start working at this video player and start rendering an actual video. In order to render a video, we are going to use a library called React Native Video. And you can find the documentation here in the GitHub repository if you scroll down and see how to work and how to install it. All right, so the installation process is very simple. The only thing that we have to do is to write npm install React Native Video, and that's it. And after that is done, we can actually import video from React Native Video library. Okay, so what we see here, video is declared but its value is never used, and the other issue is could not find the declaration file for the module. Basically it's saying that this package that we just installed at the moment does not have the types declared, and to fix this issue we are going to copy this command npm install --save dev types React Native Video, and this will install another package that will contain the types for the React Native Video package, And by doing that, we will have type-safe React Native video component that will validate all the properties that we are gonna send there. And after that is done, if we look back, we do not see the red warning here anymore. So what we can do with that, I'm going to delete everything and I'm gonna simply render a video here. If you are having issues, it's okay, like we are gonna get there. I'm doing a couple of steps and then we're gonna fix all the issues that we are gonna have. What's the most important part for a video? It's this video component API is quite similar to the image API, so it needs a source. And this source can either be a local video that you have in your source files, or it can be an object specifying the URI. And what's gonna be the URI? We're gonna get this URI in the props, because remember in the feed post, when we render the video player, we send the URI there. So let's declare first of all the interface video player, and that's gonna have a URI of type string. Let's destructure the URI here and specify that these props are of type video player. Now we take this URI from props and we send them to as the source for our video component. And again, the video should also have a style to specify the width and the height. So I'm gonna start with a simple, let's declare the style sheet here, React Native style. Let's import the style sheet from React Native. And here, let's declare the video styles.video. And the video styles will have, let's do a width 100%, and an aspect ratio of 1. So let's save and we will see the red errors there. Cannot read property of undefined. Yes, because we did not run the application once again on our device. So that's actually necessary after installing a native library. So if you're on macOS, you already know that you need to do npx pod install to install the native dependencies. And after that, rerun the application. So I'm gonna do npm run android here. And doing that will lead to a build fail error. In your case, if that didn't happen, that means that this bug was already fixed in the library. However, if you have this build failed, one of the reasons this is happening, and in my case this is the issue, is inside this issue of GitHub. So let me open it, but not 4 times, only once. So I was looking around what might be that error, and here this user is suggesting the fix. So how to fix the issue is we need to add this JCenter repository in our Android build Gradle at the end. So let's copy it from here. I'm also gonna make sure to include this in the description of the video. So yeah. Let's go in our Android build.gradle, not app build.gradle, but in the Android folder. And here, let's double check where. In the all projects repositories. All projects repositories. And here at the end, let's add this one. Okay, after adding this, let's try to rerun our project again. And after that, we see build successfully. And I hope that for you, it solved as well if you had the same issue. And in a couple of seconds, we should see our application loaded here. Yes. And what do we see? We already see the video. Amazing. So I will mute my computer. Not for you not to hear it, but that's how we do it. All right, so as you can see, it's pretty easy to render a video. The only thing that we need to do is install React Native Video Library, and very similarly with how we render an image by providing the source and a style, we render a video having its URI. The thing is that for the video, there are a lot of options and flexibility that we can add here. So I encourage you to check the documentation and play around with this library. But in our case, I'm going to show you a couple of these things that we can adjust for the video player. So one of the things is Also similar to an image is the resize mode. How do we want to resize the video relative to its container that is displayed in? Do we want the video to cover the whole container, or do we want the video to be contained in that container so that we see everything there? In my case, I probably want to cover everything, and if I do that, we will see that the whole square of our post is covered with our video. Okay, the video is played, and now at the end it stops. What we can do is we can send here repeat property, and this will make sure to loop the video. Once it's ended, it will start again. So I think that's how Instagram is doing. If I refresh it, let's see, we should see that the video starts over when it ends. Another property that you can send to this video is whether you want to mute this video or not. So if you send muted, either true or false, yeah, if it's true, it's muted, if it's false, it's not. So in this case, you will, on your device, you will see that if you send true, it's muted. But what we want to do here, let's add the ability to control if a video is muted or not. And in Instagram, that's a small icon in a corner of a video. And by default, the video is muted. And after we press on that icon, we unmute the video. So for that reason, the state of whether the video is muted or not will be a state variable. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So let's import use state from React and add here const muted and set muted. We will initialize it use state with false, or no, with true, because we want videos by default to be muted. Okay, so let's send it here. And now let's render that icon to be able to update the muted state variable. So for that, we need to encapsulate our video inside a view because we need to render something else besides the video. We need to render an icon. So the icon I found is from the Ionicons that we can import. Let's make sure to import it. And the name of that icon is volume mute. Okay, I see it there. It's very small, so we can increase the size. 14, that's enough. I think 14 is the default one. Basically, yeah, let's do color white. All right. We do not see now anything because we are going to wrap this icon inside a view that will have a background. But for now, yeah, what do I want to do? I want to import the pressable because I need to detect press events on this icon. So let's do pressable here. Let's close pressable and let's put our icon inside this pressable. Let's do styles.mute button, mute button, and the on press event will simply toggle the muted. So on press is a function that will call set muted, and we will take the value and we will revert this value. And also let's make sure to render the right icon based on the state variable muted. So if muted is true, volume mute, otherwise the name will be volume, I think it's medium. Now the last step is to declare the styles for our mute button. So mute button here. I will start with a background color black, colors.black. Let's make sure to import colors. All right, and to add some padding to have some space there. 5 will be enough. I don't know. The next step, yeah, in order to position it properly on top of a video, I will set the position value to absolute, position absolute. And where I want to render it, I think it's in the bottom right corner. So bottom 10 and right 10 should go here. Yes, it should go here. And I also want to round the corners of that container. So border radius 25. And here it is, the icon. If I press on this, I see that the icon changes to a different one. If I press again, it's a mute icon. And also the sound of a video also works because I double checked it. And yeah, have a look on your device, try it out and see if it works for you. Okay, so we are almost done here. We have covered the most important parts of this video. Now I want to include and introduce you to a small issue. So if I see this video, I see open it with sound and everything is fine. However, if I scroll down to our post, I still hear the sound, and that means that that video still plays in the background. So if you'll have multiple videos on the feed, that's obviously an issue, and the best solution for this issue is to stop playing videos that are not visible on the screen. And how would you do that? Pause the video and think about how would you do that. Also, try to implement it yourself. If you don't manage, it's okay because it's a bit more tricky. But yeah, the solution here is very similar to how we were working with our carousel, checking what items are currently visible on the screen. We're gonna do the same, but in this case, we're gonna do for our screens, home screen. And here in the home screen, we have a flat list. So we need to keep track of what is the current active feed post that is visible on the screen. Keeping track of that, we can send down a property to the feed post that will tell if the feed post is visible on the screen or not, and then we can pause the video in specific cases. For that reason, let's see how we did that in carousel. So let's go in the carousel, and we have a viewability config and the on viewable items changed callback. So let's copy these two things from here in our home screen. Okay, and let's take it step by step. On top here we see a red warning. Let's import this from React Native. Use ref. We are going to import it from React. View token from React Native. Set active image index. Here is the thing that is going to be a bit different. So what are we going to keep track of to be able to detect what post is visible? Will we keep track of the index or something else? We could keep track of the index, but I think in this case, it's much better to keep track of the ID of a post that is currently visible. Yeah, so for that reason, let's import a use state from React and declare the state here, const active post ID and set active post ID equal use state, and here initially it's gonna be null, but whenever we set it to null and after that we will need to set it to a string, we're not gonna be able to do that because TypeScript thinks that the only possible value here is a null type. So let's say that the possible values for this state is either string or null. Okay, and yeah, here we're gonna set it. Set active post ID with the viewable items at position 0, the first one. Then we take the item itself and we assign the ID. We take the ID from the item. Okay, so what we can do with these two functions, let's attach them to flat list by sending them to the properties. So viewability config equal viewability config, and the same thing for the callback on viewable items change on what? Oh yeah, on viewable item change dot current. Perfect. And we have implemented everything except using this active post ID. What are we gonna do with it? Based on this variable, active post ID, we can send to the feed post a property if is visible, and when this post is going to be visible, when the ID that we have in state is going to be equal to the ID of this item, item.id. So only in that case, the post is going to be visible. Now let's go back in our feed post and receive this is visible. So feed post, where is it? Feed post. here, and we're gonna add a new variable is visible boolean, and let's destructure it here, is visible. Now, knowing if the post is visible on the screen or not, we can send to video player this property. But here I'm going to send it as called post, because yeah, that's what we are trying to do. We want to pause the video. And when we want to pause the video, when item is visible, no, when item is not visible, like this, right? So let's go in video player now. This is the last step, and here we are going to receive post as a boolean. Let's destructure it here, and for the video we are going to send it to the post property, because video has a post property. So let's send it like this. Okay, so we traveled all the way from the home screen to the feed post, and from the feed post to the video player. And let's see if we manage to connect everything together correctly. So right now the video is playing. However, if I will scroll a bit more, the video at one point should stop. Yes, right now that video is stopped, because you see it's not happening anything. If I move back up, the video starts playing, and yeah, it's working. Now this post is visible on the screen, and that's why we need to pause the video that is outside the screen. If we scroll back up, this video will be updated, because the home screen will trigger this on the viewable items change, and we will set it back to active. Scroll back, it's inactive. Awesome. So that's everything that I wanted to show you regarding the video players and how to render video posts in our Instagram clone. Go ahead and implement some other features that you think might be useful for our video here. I don't know, the ability to pause the video if you want. Even though in Instagram feed I think that's not possible, but maybe you want to do that. Another thing that might be very interesting how to do it is to render the time here on the top right corner. To do that, I'm just gonna give you one hint, and the property, the callback that you're gonna work with is called onProgress. So if you look at the onProgress, this is a callback function that is called every progress update interval seconds with the info about the position the media is currently playing. So it will give you the current time in seconds, and also the playable duration, basically the whole duration of the video. And with these two numbers, you can do some math with them and display them in seconds on top of the video here. Actually, you need the seekable duration, because this is typically the total length of a media. Playable duration is only the one that was loaded already. All right, good luck to you.